Hi guys, welcome back to the Malena Edit. We are getting into our college football week 15 recap, and what a week it was. Like the playoff picture has completely changed. Championship weekend is coming up. I am super excited. Even in a down year, Georgia, I feel like the tiers I'm learning now more and more as I watch more conferences in college football. The tiers in the SEC are so legit. So Mizzou looks like they're a team that's kind of picking some things up, and Georgia looks like they're on a down year for Georgia. They're not overall, but for their style of play and the level we're used to them playing at, they look a little bit down this year, and they still were able to comfortably win versus Mizzou. So I feel like to get to that top tier in the SEC, it takes a lot, which is probably why they're always rotating through coaches, hoping to get somebody in there that can beat those top dogs. But enough of that. Let's jump into a lot of really good games. We're going to start this off in the Pac-12 with the Utah Utes at 21, the Colorado Buffaloes, the noon game here on Fox. Utah came out in the second half and really looked good through the run game. A lot of credit to that O-line for that. And then the defense kind of just settled in and really adjusted in that second half as well. I think a lot of their second half run success was also due to Colorado losing Nate Landman, like their quarterback of the defense, essentially, which it was heartbreaking to watch him go down because you could tell he has a lot of passion for the sport. And they were saying on the broadcast has been playing really well this season. So yeah, I feel like that energy just kind of shifted on defense. Brendan Rice in the first half had some really nice runs there for Colorado, and they looked pretty much in control of the game, but they just weren't able to keep it all the way through, especially after the injuries and Utah kind of coming out in that second half and adjusting. I have learned nothing about the Pac-12 after this season is pretty much, though, where I stand. Like, I think I can make an assumption about who's going to win games, and no, I know nothing about the Pac-12. I'm going to have to watch them so much more to get a full grasp on what these teams are. A very good and surprising game in the ACC, the 17 North Carolina at 10 Miami. North Carolina looked so exciting in this game. They came out swinging on offense, scoring on every possession. We already know that Sam Howell to Diami Brown connection is just alive and well. Daz Newsome as well. They just have such a nice little crew down there in North Carolina in Chapel Hill. Chaz Surratt played really well on that defense, and their running backs, Javonte Williams and Michael Carter, 236 yards for Williams, 308 yards for Carter. A day. And then some. As far as Miami, I was shocked to see their performance. And it never, I feel like it was so much of like the energy never shifted. I don't know if they thought they were just going to come out and punch this UNC team in the mouth. And then when it didn't happen, they were just stunned through the entire game. But I was shocked to see them not kind of fight their way back into it a little bit more, adjust more on defense. I feel like I don't want to judge the entire season for this Hurricanes team, though, on this. I've seen them play so well, but I was surprised to see them not kind of get it together and jump back into this game and put up more of a fight there. But I think they were just shell-shocked. I think they thought the game was going to go completely differently. So this was a test for their future. The adversity of this team was the adversity to test this team for the future. So now they'll be prepared going forward. They probably would have expected a performance like this from Clemson, but to see it from UNC, I think they now know they're not just going to walk through the rest of the ACC. It's going to take a little bit more fight, and I'm interested to see what that looks like in 2021 for both of these teams. The next upset of the night, LSU at 6 Florida. Was shocked to see this performance from LSU because it just looked like a down year. I was just kind of writing them off, and they didn't write themselves off. I love that. Max Johnson, true freshman starting at quarterback, really lived up to this moment. He showed some promise there, so I'm excited to see more from him and what the future looks like for him there. This defense just stepped up in those critical moments, even though they haven't necessarily all season. This was a big showing for them. They're super depleted at defensive back, and they were still able to just like throw guys out there and get the job done, which is, I guess, why they call themselves DBU, and lots of other people call them DBU. They really lived up to that name, I think, this night, and it was really cool to watch. Yeah, and then as far as Florida, Yeah, the Marco Wilson play, that sucks. That's unfortunate. That's all I can say. I mean, he's young. He's going to learn from this moment. I'm sure his coaches were in his ear and got on him for that. I hope that that fan base is not like sending threats and things like that you hear about people doing. It's a learning moment. It sucks that it had to be on such a big stage and in that way. And it sucks that it pretty much shifts probably the playoff picture in the future for this team. But those are the moments, and I'm sure the guys around him then were able to learn a lot from that. I was concerned though overall from that defense, they just kind of rode off of the offensive success it seems like all season, and they didn't come out in the second half really ready to stop this LSU team, and it was a little bit weird to see. Like they kind of just rested on their laurels a little bit there. So I want to see more from that defense. Interested to see what the future looks like. With like defensive coordinator there and how that might shift the mindset of some of these players. And finally, 15 USC at UCLA. USC winning games the way they have in every game that I've watched of them this season. Yeah, Drake London. I almost called him Drake Johnson. Drake London, tough. Love watching his play style between him and Amon-Ra St. Brown. I don't know if both of those guys are seniors, but if they both stay with Keaton Slovis, whoo, that is going to be a fun watch next season. Keaton Slovis then playing up to these big moments. It's the final minute of the game, and he has closed out drives probably as much as we've seen some top quarterbacks in the NFL close out and put on game-winning drives, and that's huge. It's not easy stuff to do regardless of who the opponent is, so I think that's going to check well on his resume there. Malapei at running back had himself a nice night. I feel like the story of this was UCLA overall played a better game. They looked more in control of the game, and USC just knew to keep in it enough to be able to close out the game when needed. And they have the capability to do that. I just think game-winning drives seem like the hardest thing. For me as a viewer, that looks like the most stressful, challenging situation, and they've stepped up to it each and every time this season. It's very interesting to watch for me, maybe even more interesting than if they were in control of the game the whole time. Obviously, you'd like to see that because I think that they overall are the better team. So they should have been in control of it, but they weren't, and they still got the win. They shock me. I would like to see them in the playoff. I'd like to see them against, in Ohio State or Notre Dame. Ooh, that would be nice. That is all I've got for you guys. This weekend in college football was especially fun. I am so ready for this upcoming weekend of championship games. It'll be a good one, and to see who the committee picks going into the playoff. Like, I'm ready to know at this point. I'm ready to see Cincinnati sneak their way in there. That'd be fun. That'd be very 2020. Let me know what you guys think. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I will talk to y'all so soon.